morning, everybody. I am here with Jordan Samuel, skincare guru from Seattle. Some of you met us yesterday, which was a really, really fabulous time that we had together. It was such a buzz. I think the noise levels probably alarmed, hopefully, most of the staff in Liberties as to what the competition was across the way. So what we'd like to do today is answer some questions that you might have about skincare, and also maybe you can just eavesdrop into the sort of conversations that we've been having completely non-stop since we got together on, when was it? Sunday at lunchtime. Yeah. And I think we've bored both Ben and Kevin to tears because we just do not draw breath. And we won't be doing it until we put them both back on a train this evening and send them back on their way to enjoy their holiday. So, over to you, Jordan, to say hello.
Hi everybody. For those of you that came out to the event, we are both so grateful, and it was amazing and wonderful, and felt like 3 hours just flew by. And while we had the chance to, I think, talk to most people, there were still more questions that needed to be answered.
Yeah, lots more.
And still more things that needed to be addressed, whether it was product related or skin related or treatment related. So we're here today to answer some questions that we have received through Instagram, and some from the event too that sort of are carried over. But should we dive in?
I think we should. Let's start with the first one to warm us up.
Okay.
You pick it up because you're better with technology than I am.
I'll just go in order. So this was, if Jane and Jordan could have a facial by anyone in the world, who would they choose to have it from?
Okay. This one is interesting. Of course, I haven't as yet had a facial from Jordan Samuel. So it's going to involve a rather expensive flight, but I do think that that should happen in the next 12 months, if that's okay with you. Thank you. I don't know the answer to that question. I think I'd probably like a facial from somebody who's just coming onto the market, so doing new things, doing new techniques, so that I can learn. It's always good. I always say as a therapist, steal a stroke and feel a stroke. So it's like, think what they're doing, try and enjoy the facial, and then think, I think I might try and incorporate that into my facials. So I'm going to say my best facial I ever had, and maybe I started at the top, was from Eve Lom, about 28, 30 years ago. It was just the most amazing facial. She taught me a lot. She taught me a lot about less is more. I was expecting to have to spend pretty much my entire savings on product at the end of the facial, but she said, no, use my cleanser, stick with that, any emergencies. There are a couple of other products, but it really was a lesson in find your core group of products and stick with those. So Eve Lom is the best ever facial I've ever had, and probably will ever had, except for current company, which will happen in the next 12 months, and then I'll let you know how that was. Jordan.
Yeah, this is tough. I've been lucky to have facial from many wonderful people, including Jane, which was heavenly.
I paid him to say that.
No, it really was, and my husband Ben had one too, and it was fantastic, and I got to watch her do the treatment, and I got to have one on myself, and it was just truly heaven. Like, I went into outer space, so that was, I always take that as a good sign. But for me, I would probably go to someone I haven't had one from yet. So I've had many great facials from many wonderful facialists, but there are two that I am close with that I have not been able to have one from. One of which is Renee Rouleau, who I just think she is a wealth of knowledge and amazing, and I haven't had the chance to have one from her yet. But then separately, I would also look somewhere, like you were saying about, so I would either go in the direction of somebody who does facials like me, or somebody on the completely opposite end of the spectrum who's using every latest gadget and technology, and something that I wouldn't normally do. I know that doesn't directly answer the question, but I think there are so many great facialists, and everybody's doing, and of course, I think both of us would say Caroline Hirons. I think without a doubt.
Yes, no, I'd love to do that.
Just because of hello, but I agree with you. I think somebody who's sort of newer onto the scene, and or somebody who's playing up technology and doing a little bit different than we do.
Maybe challenging us, because I think it's very easy to stick in your same comfort zone. I tend to just stick with very few products and deep tissue massage. I don't use any form of appliance really, but that doesn't mean to say that I don't think that they're stunning and fantastic. But I don't get to front them very much, so therefore I would, if somebody launched something in a brand new technique, I think let's give that a go and see if it really, really works.
And that's also great point too is that just because we aren't, and this also relates to products, just because we aren't using something or doing something doesn't mean we also think it's fantastic. And I think sometimes people get confused of, oh, they're hands-on, they're against technology or machines. No, that's just not what we do in our practice. And same thing with ingredients. Of course, we're using things that we think are absolutely the best and special, and yes, but just because we're not using something doesn't mean we completely hate it.
Yeah.
Next question.
Next question.
Did we answer that well?
I think so.
Okay. This is a tricky one. What are your favorite skincare products aside from your own brands?
Okay, so I have to come clean here. I don't know. I don't think I know anywhere near as much as you do about all the other skincare brands on the market. You seem remarkably informed about what's out there, what's in the States, probably getting it way before we do. And I think, if I'm honest, I'm a bit like when I wrote my books, is that I didn't really want to read any books on the similar subject, because then there was that thing about, oh my God, plagiarism. If you've read it, you think it's an original thought, and then you put it in your own book. So I think it's the same with skincare. I like to stay sort of completely blinkered and focused, and then think, I'm going to choose my ingredients and I'm going to make my own skincare. So, and I'm only going to use mine, except for yours, of course, as well, which is obviously, and I cleansed with Plié this morning, just so that you know, and I applied my new
That's not it.
Etoile. No, it's not. It's which one
The
did I
retinol.
apply? The retinol
oil.
Beautiful, of course, as you can see. So I sort of stick to what I know and think that what do I want? It's almost like, what do I want to eat today? What does my skin want to be nourished with? Try and get that into ingredient and try and get that on my face, and then stick with it. So if anybody ever says, what do you use? Then I can very honestly say, only my stuff, plus maybe a couple of others. So very boring answer. I don't know much about other ranges. I should know maybe, but I don't.
I guess what I would say are the products that I either from other ranges that I recommend in my practice, and things I don't have, such as a sunscreen, or products that I personally use that I don't have in the range that I like. And so those two things are a brand, which I don't know if you can, I'm sure you can get shipped over here, but it's Control Corrective, and it's their oil-free SPF 30. And it's just, the oil-free has nothing to do with it, it's what it is called. It's just a really light SPF. So you can layer all your normal products and then have this SPF that's just really, really super light and not sticky and not tacky, and I have it on today. And the other one is Joanna Vargas Exfoliating Mask. I like it because it is a mask, so it requires you to sort of take an extra step and take time for yourself, and it's a really gentle exfoliant, so my sensitive skin can handle it. So I wouldn't say a brand necessarily. Okay, I would pick out two products that sort of I don't have, and those are the ones that I found from other brands that I just really, really love. And there's so many great products, and obviously not enough time to try it, and only one face, and you don't want your face to fall off. So.
And actually, to be fair, that's what you guys get to do. You get to try hundreds and hundreds of different products and then inform people about them and fill in those gaps of information. So actually, I learn from your feeds. You sort of think, I look at the packaging first because aesthetically that's where I'm going to go, and then I start to think, oh, that looks interesting. So I'm tempted, I kind of learn from what you're posting, because you seem to spend a lot more time looking at other products than I do. So if I do start to buy stuff, it's probably down to whatever is coming through on my Instagram. So,
exactly. Yeah. And I was going to say, it's actually maybe we're not the most fun people to answer the question, since we both have the philosophy of less is more.
Yes, so, and we only want to use our own.
Yes, so that's. But I feel like that's a good.
I think that's okay.
I like this one. What excites you most about your jobs?
Oh. Formulating, absolutely, definitely formulating. When a new product, when I start to think, oh, I quite like this in my range, basically the world is your oyster. You can think, okay, I'd like this product in my range, I'd like it to do this, and I'd like it to do this, and then it's like, how do I go about that? And then getting in samples of product, getting in an oil from somewhere, maybe going slightly off-piste and finding an ingredient that I wouldn't necessarily use or think that it'd be something I use, and then trying to find the best version of it, putting it all together, finding out that I probably made a bomb that's going to go off on my face in about 3 weeks' time, or in the bottle. So it's going through that learning process of what goes together, because what goes together in a bottle doesn't necessarily go together on the skin. So it's that discovery, and if I can keep patient long enough to see it through.
Yeah.
Because I want to put the whole lot together that I've seen in my head or on paper. I want to put it on my skin, I want it to work, and then I want it to be on the market. And it doesn't work like that.
No, I was going to say, to your last point, there are so many formulations that are the most beautiful, wonderful thing in my head, and they just do not translate at all.
Two things do not go together, and you think, could you not mix with that, please? And
Right.
it just won't
And just look and feel like this and smell like this and like, yeah, it doesn't. I'd say formulation for sure. Another thing is because Instagram and social media has been so wonderful to both of us, and it's wonderful to connect via there. But I think this meet and greet sort of overwhelmed both of us to be face to face with everybody and get to truly meet people who've been using our products and loving our products and supporting us and help us spread the word of Team JS. And so I think that was really special and something that is new for me, at least, in terms of what we like about our jobs. You know, we are formulating products, we're doing treatments, we're managing the brand, and we're online, we're on social media, but then the face-to-face interaction of getting to meet those people I thought was very, very special.
And having said that, I think we both agree, but we just haven't necessarily thought, because it doesn't feel like it's part of the job, is for me the best bit is getting an email or a note that said, I used what you put together, what you formulated. I paid good money, I worked hard, I earned the money, I bought the product, I trusted somebody I didn't know, I put the stuff on my skin, and I can see a difference, and it's a brilliant difference. And that is the favourite part of the job. It doesn't feel like it's part of the job, though. It feels like that's what we're trying to do. But to hear that that's what's happened, and so that you can look in the mirror and think, yeah, skincare, tick. That's the best part.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that we expect floods but every now and again you open a Monday morning, you open an email and it says, I bought your cleanser and it's just like, okay, I'm not just making this up. I do know what I'm doing. We
do expect floods of emails that are very, very nice.
But don't expect a response immediately.
But did you hear what she said? We expect them every day.
Okay. Next question.
Not really, but yes, we do. What are your top 5 skincare ingredients and why?
Should we do alternate? Or
yeah. No, I think that's fun.
Jojoba oil. Favorite. It's pretty much in everything I do. It's in the cleanser. It's in rose gold. It's in the body products. If I can't get jojoba in, there's a very good reason why I can't get jojoba in. Organic jojoba. It's an oil that's not an oil. It's a wax. It sits in the skin. It works with the skin. It balances the skin. You could probably eat it only on a desert island if you're starving. No, jojoba oil through and through and through. Beautiful jojoba oil.
I love that we're both going in the oil direction. And I feel like we're both going the oil direction of the non-trendy oils anymore. Because there's all these oils that come on them. So my first ingredient would be olive oil.
Okay.
Organic extra virgin olive oil. It's the second ingredient in my cleanser. And it's going to be coming up in more products. And I just love the polyphenol content of it, the antioxidant content of it. I love that most people, again, because it's something that we're getting internally, don't react to it. It's quite balancing. It's a really great cleansing oil as well. Though what I love is that jojoba and olive, to me, are like the tested and true and tried and true oils. And because they're not trendy or not exciting anymore, you rarely hear about them.
They're the doyens of the skincare industry.
Yeah.
Yes. The oil industry.
Yeah. So I like that we both started with oils. And but yeah, I would. And I've never. I mean, yes, of course, people can react to anything, but those to me are the most benign.
Yeah.
I guess I would say.
Yes.
Next.
Okay, I am going for another oil. I'm going for rose hip. Gives me lots of problems because of the colour. What colour is rose hip, Jordan?
Bright orange.
And why, Jordan, is over oil cream bright orange?
Because you have a beautiful rosehip CO2 extract in there, which is also like powerhouse.
Oh, the orange, okay. Think orange, think vitamin C. For me, rosehip, the vitamin C hit, the fact that it will help sort scars out almost overnight, I kid you not. The fact that it's got a nutty, really nice viscous feel. It feels really creamy. It's got so much lipid, omega, vitamin, all the perfect balances. but it's also a dry oil. So even though you think you're putting sort of loads on, it just disappears and it heals and it seals, and fine lines and wrinkles, anti-aging, just beautiful. And the best version is stunning in so many ways. So the bright orange, almost food dyed cochineal, but naturally CO2 expressed, critical extract rosehip.
Yes.
You can't have that. I've said that now.
I know. That's what I mean. I was thinking now, like, what am I? Because I think we'll probably each go over 5. But
yeah.
I guess next I would say, and because I just came out with the product, is retinol, vitamin A, and I should say vitamin A in general. Retinol palmitate, retinol aldehyde. Wonderful. It is one of those proven anti-aging ingredients, which I hate that term, but it is. It speeds up cell turnover. Not everyone can use it, so that is, just because I said it's one of my favorite ingredients to use doesn't mean that, like, oh, I want to get it, it didn't work for me, and then you feel sad and depressed. It can be skin sensitizing. It takes a while to get used to. It takes a right balance of how many times you should be using it per week, but the results are stunning. If your skin can tolerate it, the results are stunning. Reduced pigmentation, reduced scarring, evenness of tone, a firmer skin. It stimulates fibroblasts in the your dermal layers, so you're going to produce collagen and elastin and create that nice, beautiful, firm look to the skin.
You know a lot about skincare.
So do you.
So next ingredient.
Number 3.
Okay, I'm going for oatmeal.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm going for that because it could be a store-covered ingredient. So if you don't have a product at home, or you want to reach something that's really soothing and really calming, then I would just oat porridges with a little bit of water, use that as a mask. I have it in the over-oil cream because the beta-glucans of the colloidal oatmeal will form that really beautiful fine seal that keeps the moisture in and stops the transepidermal water loss. It's very, very skin softening, but it's also something that if you're eating it as well, and I'm heavily into ingredients that you can take as well as apply. So to have oatmeal around in the product, and then to have oatmeal around in the home, such a lovely, nourishing, skin protecting ingredient. It gives that really nice creamy feel. So yeah, oatmeal's number 3 for me.
So number 3, first of all, there's 2 cameras going on here, so if we look crazy...
And I keep forgetting to look in the lens of this one, so I know.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, okay.
We're talking.
And he's going to edit his, and you're going to get mine just.
We're talking to. Even though I feel like this is great, there's no editing needed, right?
No.
Because we're amazing. Okay, number 3. I'm going to say, and I'm going to combine 2 because they do. I think it would be unfair to separate them. Is that cheating? Whatever. Hyaluronic acid, sodium hyaluronate, and tamarind extract. Ooh. So they are both water-loving humectant ingredients. They hold 1,000 times their weight in water in the skin. It's a basic ingredient, and of course, when I use the term basic, and I think the same would apply to you, it's not boring, and it's the necessities. So
it's core.
It's core. Yes, that's better than. But yeah, I know. I just keep trying to be like, oh, basic is so boring. I'm like, that's what you need. Mm-hmm. Core. It's perfect. Fundamental. Hyaluronic acid. So many of us have self-dehydrated our skin through over-cleansing, using foaming cleansers, through not protecting our skin when we're outside, through over-exfoliating, through over-scrubbing, through over-microdermabrasioning, through over-retinoling. The skin needs a fine balance. And so this sort of puts the water back in, starts to help the process of getting the skin back to healthy, plump, barrier-protected skin. Barrier-protected skin, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Sound like drunk.
Oh, that's good. So it's my turn.
Number 4.
Number 4. That means I've only got one more, so I've got to work out that number 4 is not the be-all and the end-all. Frankincense. Frankincense essential oil.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. So, frankincense is in quite a few of my products. I love the smell of it. I love the fact that you can get lots of different levels of frankincense. You can get a really citrus top note. You can get a really nice resinous deep note. I think it's a non-offensive essential oil. It's masculine and it's feminine at the same time, so it's very balancing. It's beautifully astringent on the skin, to the extent that if you had a pure frankincense and you have a skin tag or something like that, over a period of about 3 weeks, if literally you put a dot, and I always do this here because I found this out by experiment and proof on myself. I had a small skin tag. Literally 1 drop a day completely disappeared. So I don't know where it went. I don't think it was on the floor. I think it just completely sucked in. So it's so astringent, so beautiful. So just a trace of that in any of your products is going to help with that tightening, that toning, that firming. So fabulous fragrance, fabulous essential oil, I think, in lots of products to really work hard but naturally. So frankincense.
God, we're only at number 4. I mean, there's so many. I'm looking here. I don't want to repeat any of the ones you did either.
No, you can't.
Okay, fine. I would say of then, because we know the important...
What's the cloudy one in this? I say that because we both have a continuous discussion about the fact that we use natural ingredients all the time, and we always try and source the best version of the natural ingredients. And because we do that, there's always going to be variation. So we have this running joke between us. I will always ask Jordan why his aloe sometimes comes through cloudy, sometimes comes through piercingly crystal clear, and sometimes it's somewhere in between. And also sometimes, depending if it's been in the light in my dressing room or something like that, then that's going to change too. So that's my question to him. And what's your question to me, Jordan?
Why is the OO cream so orange?
Okay, and why is the OO cream so orange?
The rosehip CO2 extract.
And why is it sometimes not so orange?
It just depends on the, what would be the term I want to use? Like the vintage, the harvest, the vintage. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's no different than, I think we were speaking about this last night, wine, food. You know, you don't get an apple that is the same color, the same perfect, you know, I'm seeing an apple sitting on the desk right there. You know, it's different. And the same thing's going to be with rosehip and with aloe and with purely, truly natural organic ingredients. It's not going to be the same thing twice. It'd be lovely if it was, and people are very happy with that and want that, but then you're not getting something truly natural. So,
and the fundamental, a rose is still a rose. But sometimes it smells different, sometimes it comes through a different colour on the petals, sometimes it grows taller, sometimes it grows shorter, and those are the variations that we have to deal with because we want to stick with the pure fabulous. Anyway, I digress.
I know.
Just again.
So number 4. Number 4.
Yep.
I would say probably lactic acid, because of all the acids, to me that is one that most people can tolerate, not if you're allergic to it. It has moisture retention qualities to it as well. I just think it performs beautifully on the skin without overdoing. It's a larger molecule. It's not the largest molecule of acids, but it's a larger molecule of the acids. So it's not going to go in and possibly inflame the skin and possibly irritate the skin. It is going to help over time to lighten certain spots, help with, again, stimulating fibroblast cells, and yeah, I would say lactic acid.
Okay. So I have number 5 now.
You've number 5. Oh yeah, I need to think of something.
I know what I'm doing with number 5. Number 5, I am going to talk about an ingredient I don't currently use, but I'm going to be using, and that is raw organic vinegar. And that's coming out in a product that's coming out soon. I can't say when because I don't know when. But both of us talk a lot about, you know, some people will present a skincare problem or a situation or an issue, and oftentimes it is to do with what's going on inside, gut health. So I do think if you can look at some skin offenders and exclude them from your diet, not your calorie diet, your skin diet, if you can get gut health, that helps absorbency of all the nutrients, which is going to give you healthier skin. But at the same time, a lot of these ingredients, like the oatmeal I referred to, can help from inside and out. So I'm going to do some work with some raw organic vinegar that still has the mother in there. So I think some of you might know it like a SCOBY. So I'm trying to work on getting that because I think the gut health, skin health, the live bacteria on the skin, the good stuff. It's a malic acid, a natural malic acid from the apple. So across all those different platforms, I'm working towards, if I can get it to work, with the preservatives not knocking out the good stuff, but do knock out the bad stuff, I'm going for an organic raw apple cider vinegar.
I think I love it. I love it. Number 5. I feel like there's so much pressure on number 5 now.
I know. And then I feel that I've neglected some of
my
key ingredients.
That's what oh God.
Bad mother.
I mean, this is going to be staying with the antioxidant content and the nourishing content of, I know it's sort of the same, but it's a different part of an extraction of the plant, is olive leaf extract.
Ooh.
That's another ingredient I think to tease that's coming out in a product that I will be launching at some point in my life. We'll leave it at that. But the research and the results on olive leaf extract in terms of what it's actually doing in terms of protecting and nourishing and helping barrier function and helping keep skin healthy and vibrant and bright and calmed and soothed and non-irritating is olive leaf extract.
Is that olive leaf? I might steal that before he brings his out. I'll get mine out quick because I think it works really well.
Mine's coming out tomorrow.
No, raw apple cider vinegar and olive leaf extract, just perfect.
Mine's coming out tomorrow.
Kevin, could you patent that now, please? Quick.
Next question. I feel like we're going to have so many. This is going to be a 6-hour video.
No,
I hope you guys like it.
Yeah, how long are we at?
We're at 25 minutes.
25 minutes? How long do you normally do yours for?
Like 25 minutes.
Oh, okay.
But we have a lot more questions.
Okay. Do you need to stop and go to the loo for a minute? We can just talk amongst ourselves.
Some of them I feel like are a little repetitive, so that's not good. But oh, okay. Well, so in the name of skin, just asked to both of you, what product do you next see fitting into your line that you don't already create? And we sort of already touched on that a bit without giving away too much information.
Yes, I don't at the moment have an exfoliation product. So I am working on a natural acid exfoliator rather than a physical grinds style exfoliator. I was looking at that, but that's something else that is really interesting. I wanted something that was a natural grain, but the problem is unless you put a synthetic in, it's really quite hard to have it not clog. And bathrooms are damp, and as soon as you use it, no matter how quickly you put the lid back on, all of a sudden you just get this chunky lump. So I sort of parked that for a while, so now I'm going for a natural gentle acid liquid exfoliator because I think that's what I need in my range next.
Yeah, for me it would be probably, you're going to see a lot of cleansers in my range, so cleanser, but since I already have a cleanser, I guess to answer that question, probably a moisturizer in terms of cream, I guess I should say, and or I would love to say an SPF. It's just it's hard in the States dealing with the FDA and then dealing with issues with Canada because they have a whole separate system of laws, and the EU is a whole separate system of laws. So yes, in a perfect world, I would say a sunscreen, but I don't think that's. Oh, that would have been one of my ingredients, like zinc oxide. Well, too late now.
Yeah, you had your moment.
What products other than your own can you not live without? We sort of already answered a version of that. Mm-hmm. What are your skincare tips for a long haul flight?
Hydration. My skincare is sort of not skincare products in a pot, but hydration. Water before the flight, water during the flight, and that's when I like spritzes. Just to keep, and creams, just to keep applying, like having little snacks for your skin throughout the flight. If it's a long flight, you don't not eat for an entire long flight. I know some people do to get the jet lag thing, but little skincare snacks. So spritzes, a little bit of cream. Every time you become aware of your skin, spritz with a natural spritz so that you're not, spraying the person next door and asphyxiating them. So a natural hydrosol, water-based spritz. You're laughing at me.
I like
with some frankincense as well, because that's going to help keep you awake if you need to stay awake. So yes, freshening, moisturising, hydrating, because otherwise you are going to get off, and then it's so drying up there, and it's recycled air, and it's just so.
So this is, I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but I just learned this. So if you all already knew this, then I feel very dense. But if you didn't, then we're all together. So we of course know that the air up in the plane is dry, etc., etc. I had no idea that when they said the cabin is pressurized, I always thought that meant it's pressurized just to sea level. But no, when you're at 35,000 feet, the cabin's pressurized to like 6,000, 7,000 feet. So it's like being somewhere in the States, Colorado, Denver, where your skin is so. Which then I had a light bulb moment. Of course, that's why. If you drink alcohol, you have a way greater, it's double the dehydration. So you need to, exactly what she said, water, internally, externally. Hydrate serum, hydrating masks, hopefully. Sheet masks are great. The clear gel masks are great too because of the ingredients that are in them, and you're not going to scare the person next to you.
You put a sheet mask on?
No, I would not do a sheet mask. I'll do a clear gel mask. I've done a clear gel mask. Because then you just look like maybe a little bit shiny, but not. But that is something
you meant like the white mask sitting there on the plane.
Some people do that. I don't do that.
Okay.
But some people do that.
It would be a good idea, but I think
you would scare somebody. But yeah, so that was something interesting that I had no idea, and then I was like, oh, that's why you really do need to up the ante internally as well. 0 alcohol if you can, and just hydrate.
And if it's not 0 alcohol, it's even more fluid, because the alcohol is going to make you pee twice the amount.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. I'm going to let you have this one because you have it in your brand. But I would like to know, what supplements do you take, if any, or would you recommend for skin health, and when do you take them, with food or empty stomach, AM, PM?
Okay, I do take supplements. I take supplements because I want them to supplement, not to replace, that sort of thing. So I do take a lot of oils, no surprise there. We do 3 supplements. We do a starflower oil, you might know it as borage. We do that in a capsule. We also do flaxseed, and then we do rosehip, although we're having a problem sourcing the right type of rosehip encapsulation at the moment, so that's off the market. The reason I do starflower is because I'm not a young spring chicken anymore, and I do believe in the hormone balancing aspect of starflower. I tend to refer to it as the older sister of evening primrose, so when we were younger, PMT, that sort of thing. So starflower packs a much bigger hormonal punch, and that's important with skincare as well, because as we do age, we need those lipids, we need those fats to sort of support the matrix structure within the skin. I also take it for mood. I do joke about the fact the reason Kevin isn't 10 foot under our garden patio is the fact that I mainline starflower oil. So he is still alive to tell the tale. Some of you saw him on Saturday. And then flaxseed is good across all. It's hair, it's nails, it's skin. It's a good general. So if you're if you are maintaining good skin and wanting to keep it balanced, then a flaxseed. And then I will, because I have a secret stash of rosehip, because when it looked like it was running out, I thought I'd keep it. What colour's rosehip?
Orange.
Okay, good. Good student. So I take rosehip as well. So I've got that vitamin C repair from within. I've got the starflower mood balancing, and then I've got the flaxseed. And they are safe to take all at the same time. They are safe to take any time of day because they are an oil. It's just like pouring a stunning, like you were talking about olive oil. I know you were talking about the leaf before, but the olive oil, a fantastic salad dressing with all the oils that you think are interesting or great for skin. Just make an amazing dressing with some raw organic vinegar. See what we did there? And then you're taking your skincare as well as applying your skincare. So I do my supplements through oils.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, and I agree too, actually. I mean, there's other things, but then it gets into sort of the medical conversation, which... Sure.
I used to take garlic. Garlic's really protective, but I do find that I haven't really had any problems since, taking those sorts of things. So I will take something if I think I need it.
Right.
But so far so good.
But for me, I take a lot of omegas. So whether flax or fish or cod liver oil, same thing. Just lubricate inside and out.
Yeah.
This one is, maybe I'll just cover this one. It should be a quick one.
Yeah.
And it's, how can you use both vitamin C and retinols in a daily routine? Obviously not together, but how can we make them work the best? So that's actually a myth. You can use vitamin C and retinol together. Where it got a little off was when ascorbic acid, because it's acidic and people thought it was a problem, but the skin is acidic, so it's actually okay. However, since they are both active, you have a higher chance of reacting. I also like, if you're going to do an active ingredient, sort of do one thing at a time. So if it's an acid, let it be an acid. If it's a retinol, let it be a retinol. If it's a vitamin C, let it be a vitamin C, and let that take center stage. So I would do vitamin C AM, retinol PM. Just keep it super simple. You're going to get the antioxidant content from vitamin C during the day, and then in PM you're going to have the reparative ingredients with your retinol. And since retinol is sun sensitizing, you obviously need an SPF during the day, so it'd just be easy to use at night. Okay. Okay, I like this one. I would love for both of you to talk about how to decide when a product isn't working, especially in terms of the skin purging. It's often hard to know if it is a reaction to the product or if it is something that truly doesn't work. Time obviously helps with that, but there are certainly things early on to look for when testing a new product. Thanks.
Okay. So, talk about product isn't working. It's...
So essentially, like, if there's a reaction,
Yeah, it's a difficult one because sometimes our skin changes on an hourly basis, a daily basis, a seasonal basis. We tend to think, oh, we've got autumn, winter skin, or we're going into summer, we should do something about it. I think it depends. If you've just eaten a huge meal with a whole load of acids in your stomach's going to do different things. It's going to start to present on your skin relatively quickly. So if it doesn't work, obviously if you apply it and your skin feels really, really bad, then remove it. If it's not giving you those results that it says it does on the box or the tin or the tube, immediately. My favourite phrase is over time, not overnight. You know,
I'm so glad you mentioned
we
that.
are miracle workers. I do appreciate that sometimes, but not all the time. So give something a chance to settle in. Give something a chance to disrupt, because I know there's a vein in sort of business that disruptive is chucking stuff up in the air so that it falls down at a natural homeostasis, a balance point. Not always the case with skincare. So if it's feeling uncomfortable, if it's feeling like it's doing something bad, take it off. Otherwise, then I would say use small amounts and only change one thing, and use small amounts over a period of time and see how that sits. And if it sits fine, then add some more. It's one of those things. And also, I go back to, and now I'm rambling, only change one thing at a time. If somebody brings out 3 new products, please buy all 3 products, but don't go home and apply all 3 at the same time, because if you get a stunning reaction, you don't know which is the product that's working hardest. And if you get a bad reaction, it might only be one of them and one ingredient within one of them. But what you've done is you've discounted the entire range because of the response your skin had. So we are asking you to bear with, try them out one at a time, feel what your skin feels, and then you're pretty much going to know, because you know your skin on a daily basis. You look in the mirror and park it. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. And it might be that you can return to it next season or next year. Don't discount it completely, but maybe just park it for now. But I think you'll know fairly quickly whether or not it's going to sit with you or not, or get you good results. Was that rambling?
No, it was, okay. And you covered everything.
Okay.
I think I would add one more thing, but exactly that. And main things are, if you're going to add, especially, I mean, it doesn't even really matter active or not, because there's so many ingredients that are wonderful and beautiful, but you might just not get on with them depending on the environment you're in, the stress level you're at. You know, there's so many things going internally and externally. So be patient, one at a time. But one thing is, you know, if you're using, I don't really believe in, and there's a video coming out with me and Narita Joy talking about skin purging, and there is sort of 3 main things that happen with the purging process. If you're new to acids, if you're new to retinols, and massage. And the skin, obviously, it can help to sort of get things moving in the skin, which helps it to come out, which we do want it to do that. Massage is sort of the least offender, because it'll just come up and out and then be done. But, you know, daily use of an acid or a retinol or every other day, if there is stuff that's sort of like hiding down under, it's finally going to come to the surface just because you're removing all that excess dead cell. However, that process should not go on for more than, depending on how often you're using it, for more than 2 to 3 weeks. And even then, that's a stretch. And also, reaction versus purging, if there is ruddiness and almost like an inflamed mark with the purging, you're probably reacting to it more than purging from it. That ruddiness is an inflammatory response and not really something that's going to come just from a natural purge of the skin. So that would be, and of course, with all of that being said, nothing's a perfect science, and things are constantly changing, and we can't speak to people, you know, how hard or soft your water is, what your diet is, what your stress level is, what the environment is, have you been traveling, did you forget to remove your makeup one night, did you wear too much makeup, did you also add a new makeup product in, did you spray a perfume somewhere that's also the list goes on and on, but those are the main stages.
And what we do forget also is that the body is spending all day, every day, trying to maintain balance. And as human doings, we spend all day, every day, giving it stuff that it doesn't recognise, applying too much of one thing, not enough of another, and not giving the body chance to sort of work out, okay, I like that one, not so much that one, because we put it all on together and it doesn't have time to work out what's working. So take a bit more time, apply a little less, and be very aware of what's happening.
Exactly. I think there's only one other question we have, which is
probably good timing.
We're going on 7.5 hours.
We can make it a marathon.
I mean, it's sort of, I could keep going.
We can do 24 hours.
I seem to consistently have small whiteheads on my face, particularly around my jawline. Appreciate you haven't seen my skin, but just wondering if there are any common triggers that cause this and how best to minimize? Many thanks to you both.
Okay. For me, the truth of the fact is I would want to ask, if somebody came with this, I'd want to ask what their diet was. And whenever I say diet, I do not mean calorie diet, I mean skincare diet. So what are the foods that are going into your system on a regular basis, either deliberately or unnoticed or unseen, that might be triggering this? Because breakout is, as it suggests, it's coming from within and it's coming out. So it's unlikely to be your skincare. So I would want to look at the sugar content of your diet, because the food industry these days tends to put sugar in absolutely everything. So we do tend to overload. And anything I think is fizzing and breaking out on the surface, which is a very easy way of explaining a very complicated process, is I'm saying there's too much. The body is just trying to, it's bubbling over, if you like. So I'm looking at alcohol levels, caffeine levels, sugar levels, all of which I consume pretty much on a daily basis. So I'm not saying don't. He's just spent time with me, so I have to be honest. But I do think it's a dietary thing. So it's about, for me, it would be about just checking the gut health, checking the hormone balance, because this could be a temporary or permanent or a long-term or a short-term hormone thing. But I just want to know what's going in, and then I can start to work on what should be going on. And when you get those two right and together, then I think you have the perfect match. But we're very good at not realising that some of the food that we think is fabulous for us has actually got some hidden ingredients that isn't that great for us. And I call them inflammagers. So they inflame, they damage, they age, and oftentimes we don't know that they're an ingredient. So start to become a label detective. Start to see what's going, like you would read the skincare packet, boy, you know, you read what's in that. Start to do the same with your food, because there could be something in there that is a trigger that you're spending a fortune on skincare, when actually it could be one ingredient that you exclude from your dietary.
That. Yes, all of that. So it is something that I think is very easy for people to forget, where you put a product on, all of a sudden, maybe not all of a sudden, but there's a reaction over the course of it, and you blame the product. And it very well could be the product, of course, because it's very black and white. You're putting something on, it's reacting in that certain place. But the skin is an organ, and just because it's our covering, it's because we can touch and feel, and obviously we can't touch and feel our liver, the skin is still doing the process and working with all the other organs in the body. Yeah. So yes, more than likely something like that is very defined to a certain place on the face. You know, if you're reacting to a product, yes, you might have it all over your face. But if it's a certain place, it could be something internal. Yeah. It could be hormonal, it could be dairy, it could be sugar, it could be caffeine, it could be alcohol. It could be simple food allergies, and it could be something random,
it could be
like
wheat, it could
honey.
be grain, anything. Yeah.
I did a blood food allergy test, and it didn't shock me what I was allergic to, because they were things that I actually liked to consume. Yeah. That made my skin irritated and blotchy and broken out, and it was things like lamb and honey and pineapple and like totally odd egg whites. Yeah. But of course I ate eggs this morning. I know like what comes with the territory. So not that you have to go crazy and do all of that, but be in touch with yourself. I mean, really, really monitor and look internally what you're putting internally. Look what you're putting internally as much as you are externally, because it's sort of a 50-50 chance that it's going to be one of those things. That was stupid to say, but so if it's defined to an area, it's probably more internal than external, I would say. Mm-hmm. You know, because if you're reacting to a product, you would see it elsewhere on the face. Maybe not everywhere, but like it might be here and here and here, not just here.
And here is dietary, it's your stomach. And just a case in point, you mentioned pineapple. Yeah. You think it's a fruit, it's incredibly healthy. Try exfoliating with a lump of pineapple after about 2 seconds, and you start to burn the surface of your skin off. So the bromelain within that pineapple is such a strong, fantastic, which is why it's an ingredient in lots of skincare. We think it's natural, so we think it's completely innocuous, but actually it packs a pineapple punch.
Very much
so you need to be aware of it. Yeah.
Very much so. And even for me, not that I don't want to give a bad rap because I eat tomatoes all the time, I'm Italian, but tomatoes for me bring heat out in my skin. Okay. So there's that too. Sometimes for me, the acidic nature of red wines, coffee, tomatoes, they don't sit well for my sensitive skin. That does not stop me, however, from drinking red wine, coffee, or eating tomatoes.
It's just information. You can make your choices.
You can make, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing too, life's too short sometimes. So it's like, I'm not going to stop eating egg whites. Now we're going into a full talk show. What else should we talk about?
And then when we bring out our food range and our smoothie range and, it's
a good idea.
No.
Patent. Anyway.
So, are we done?
I think we're finished.
No more questions. Is there one last?
Let's see.
Okay, I've got a question for you.
Oh no. Yes.
From your range,
Oh god.
what is your desert island product? If you had to just go out that door now with one product only, one product ever, and why?
Yeah, I think that's an easy one. It's for sure the cleanser.
Okay.
Which I feel like I'm gonna ask you the same question and you might get the same answer. The cleanser, which is changing names, that's why I'm calling it the cleanser. It can remove your makeup because you're gonna be wearing a ton of makeup on a desert island, and it can remove your SPF. It can work as a mask. It has light hydrating agents in it, so you can leave it on as a mask or a light moisturizer. Yeah, it's just going to do everything except protect your skin from the sun, essentially. But from my range, cleanser for sure.
Yeah.
Jane, from your range, what is your one desert island product?
Well, funny you should ask me that, because I also think it's my cleanser. It was the first product I ever formulated. It was the only product I ever thought I'd formulate. So when I put it together, I thought it's pretty much got to do everything.
Right.
And I hope it does. I think it does.
It does.
It cleanses, it double cleanses. You can use it as a mask. You can use it as a sort of an emergency balm somewhere. I know some people use it as a cuticle. I think it's quite a pricey cuticle oil.
But how fab.
Very balancing for the skin. And also, I do think that most people, big statement, most people's skincare problems start with the cleanser they use. If you cleanse your skin and it feels squeaky clean, no. You need a cleanser that when you clean your skin, it feels fabulous, it feels soft, it feels hydrated, and it means that you don't have to put moisture back from your cleanser, you just put moisture back for your skin. So after cleansing, you're not making up for the damage you just did, you're replenishing what your skin then needs. So yeah, cleanser, time and time again, and this is where I do joke, it is so pure, jojoba, beeswax and essentials. On the desert island, you pretty much could eat it, and a pot that size, you could, until the rescue boat arrives, you're fine.
I love it,
yeah.
exactly. But I agree that I'm going to take your statement and go one more.
Oh, okay.
Not only that most skin problems start with the cleanser, but I think a lot of our skincare issues come from over and misuse of product.
Okay. Ooh, biggie.
It's a biggie, and it's not a generalization, because some people are going to say, well, I've had breakouts since I was 14 and I never used product, so it couldn't be from that. Of course, and I understand that, and no. The battery's going to die too. We'll finish it up quick.
Okay.
So the overuse and misuse of product is something, acids are wonderful, they're not wonderful twice a day, every day. Same reason you wouldn't use SPF at night as your face cream. You don't want that occlusiveness of an SPF on your face during nighttime. Not that you guys are doing that, and if you are, what the hell are you doing? But I just think that we've gone into a state, now there's all these dehydration products because we've dehydrated our skin. I sort of talked about that earlier from X, Y, and Z. Or there's these foaming cleansers that we've started using, which is then we need to do X, Y, and Z to repair all of that. Or we've gone out, we've used sun sensitizing ingredients and gone out during the day without sunscreen on, and our skin now has distended capillaries and hyperpigmentation and irritation and inflammation. So then we need skin soothing ingredients. And so I do feel like if you can just scale it back, get back to the core, get back to the fundamentals, as you said, which is so much better. That's where it is. And as far as I'm concerned, it's right here.
Dream team.
Dream team. But I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Thank you guys for watching. If you've lasted the whole
if
hour, essentially.
Or have you taken a holiday in between?
And yeah, we will hopefully have many more opportunities in the near future to do these videos together.
Okay.
And until then, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Have a good day.